Shalom. First and foremost, only give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim, to the elect that are scattered across the four corners of this earth, pushing this truth out in faith and in our sincerity. I'm the Bro Shamala from the GMS Houston camp. And this lesson is going to be, I'm basically going to be going into how that we are the true shepherds. You see that the Lord has set up, amongst a world full of thieves and robbers and liars, schemers, right? People that are paid off, right, to lead our people astray. Amongst all of that, the Lord has set up true teachers to give the 100% truth, right? The doctrine of salvation, you see, unto them. Right? Because you're going to have the true prophets or the true shepherds, and you're going to have the hirelings, right, or the false prophets. Most High created a balance. You see, because the elect, right, the elect will be those true shepherds. You see, and the elect that have not woken up unto this truth, the Most High will lead them unto the true prophets, the true shepherds. But the 2/3 and the ones that's meant to be destroyed, they will be overcome and taken in the snare of these different doctrines from the false shepherds, the hirelings, the ones that have been paid off to deceive. See, so I'm going to get straight into it here in John, the 21st chapter. All right, it says, John 21:15. It says, Yahushua talking to Peter. You see, which was the head disciple. All right. The head of the apostles. This was who Yahushua established and set up. Right? Which Yahushua is the true name of the Messiah. And that's who the world calls Jesus Christ. Right? It says, verse 15, so when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? Right, because they were fishing. You see, in Peter's, his livelihood, or his job, you see, he was a fisherman. So, he was into it. You see, I didn't, been around a lot of people who, fishing, who like to fish, and they go all into details about this and that, their favorite spots, what pole to use, and, the different types of bait. You see, these people that do this, you got people that have a real life passion for it. Right? But he says, lovest thou me more than these? You see, you love me more than that, right? Than his occupation. He said unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest I love thee. He said unto him, feed my lambs, right? So, he told him that he loved him, right? But Yahushua responded, feed my lambs. Now, Yahushua didn't keep, he wasn't talking about, going to actually going to feed some lambs that he owned, and to take care of them and, provide for them. He wasn't talking about that. He's talking about actual men, the believers, the elect. Those were his lambs. So when Peter said, I love you, yeah, I love you, he didn't just respond like, okay. He said, feed my sheep. So you had to do an action to show that he loved them. All right? And he told him that 3 times. Feed my lambs, feed my sheep. You see? Just to get it in his mind to show him, like, look, if you really love me, this is what you're going to do. This is how you express that love for me, by taking care of these men. All right? You got the men and the women, you see, are believers as well, right? But taking care of his elect. That's how you express that love. It's not just lip service. See? So by feeding the sheep, that means you gotta pour into them this water, pour into them this spiritual bread, this spiritual meat, right? Give them the things that is beneficial and necessary for them to obtain that salvation. Look after them, you see? And this is the job that's been placed on us, to look after the sheep. And one thing I wanted to touch on too was the story or the account with David. You see, because David, he was a shepherd, right? And if you can receive it, Peter was David, right? You see, David came back as Peter along, down the line. You see, as reincarnated, he was reincarnated as Peter. But let's go to 1 Samuel 17 and 33. Because David, he was a shepherd of the sheep. See, so he came back later on down the line, you see, and he was given that position back, but spiritually. And let's see how David cared for the sheep. 1 Samuel 17 and 33. This is when basically David was about to go up against Goliath, and basically they were doubting him because he was a youth. He's a young man, right? He had no experience in war. But it says 1 Samuel 17 and 33, and Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth." See, so David, he was just just a little young man. You see, he probably knew a couple things about, war. He probably, probably knew a couple moves, this and that, right? But Goliath, he was into that. He was like dudes today, yeah, I'm about that. Well, Goliath, he was about that. He was raised up as a warrior, right? And David wasn't. You see, David wasn't. He was just coming up under his father, right? Being caring, for the duties, whatever his father wanted him to do. You see? All right. But it says, and David said unto Saul, "Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and his uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he defied the armies of the living God." So a lion and a bear came up against it took away a sheep out of the flock, right? This was his father's flock. You see? So he couldn't just he was responsible for this. His father put him in charge of taking care of these sheep. So by him, letting the lion and the bear, or let's let anything happen to the sheep, was gonna make him look bad at the end of the day. You see, he could not have that happen. You see, because back then, living up to be worthy to your father meant a lot. All right, so he went and he slew the lion and the bear. How many people would do that? You see, he showed his love for his father's flock. You see? Because when you think about it, if you always caring for, like just say you got a dog or anything like that, you feeding them every day, you bonding, you bonding with them. You creating a bond if interacting with your pet daily, you might, even though probably can't really. Now, some dogs can't understand you, so I'm not gonna say that, but you might talk to your dog, say certain things, you know, pet them, this and that. That's creating a bond. So David, he had a bond with these sheep because he was taking care of them all the time. He probably had names for them and everything. You see? So he went to the full extent to go and kill a lion and a bear. He faced danger. Right? He stood in front of danger just to protect the sheep. All right? And that is what we have to do as well. You see, you, me, whoever is in his faith. All right? As shepherds. You see, we all putting our life on the line, man. We putting our life on the line, going up against, hey, he said a lion and a bear, right? But you have these different men, false prophets. They are the lion and the bear. You see, to try to, steal away or lead the sheep away from the truth, leading them in the way of death and on the wrong path because they are not true shepherds. Zechariah 11 and 5, it says, "Who possess and slay them and hold themselves not guilty," right? Esau, Edom, he does what he does to us, right? And he has no real punishment. Nothing has really happened to this man. He still gets away with it to this day. Right? It says, "And they that sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not." Right? Who are the shepherds? The so-called leaders of our people. Right? They see what's going on, and they are still benefiting off our people. You got the pastors in the church, right? All they care about is the money, the tithes, right? They don't really care about truth. They don't really care about actually, leading our people into salvation. You see, some of them, actually do teach out of sincerity, but it's not the truth. You see, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But majority of them are in it for that money. All right, you got your TD Jakes, right? Creflo Dollar. You see, all of these different, millionaire pastors. They don't really care about our people. Then you got the leaders of, so-called leaders of these different camps, right? With some of these guys have been paid off. They don't really care for the sheep, right? Telling them to, go ahead and, and get jabbed up, right? Take the charagma, you see, have sex on the Sabbath, doing this and that. They leading them into destruction. They're not true shepherds. You see? They not even warning them of the wolf, right? Which that's mentioned in John 10. Let's get that. John 10 and 11. It says, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep." This is Yahweh Shah speaking. And he gave his life for the nation of Israel. He said, "I'm not sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel." He gave his life. He was that sacrifice. Right? Hey, like I said, we are shepherds as well. Right? Yahweh Shah said, "There's no greater thing than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends." Who are our friends? The elect. That's our family. That's a true family. Right? It said, "But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth because he is a hireling, and cared not for the sheep." And this is the complete opposite of what David did. You see, he didn't flee. He didn't see the bear and the lion come and just run off. No, he went after the lion and the bear. All right? to protect the sheep. So, and the hireling will see the wolf coming. He see the destruction, right? He see, the sword is nigh. He sees that Esau Edom is about to come down on our people with great wrath. But he don't warn them. He just, because he paid off. You see? Paid off. Or you just don't got it. The Lord ain't just got his spirit on you. Right? You're a hireling of Satan. But, they see all these things happen and they don't warn the people. You see, but that's why the Lord set up his true men. The true shepherds, right? Jeremiah 3:15. I will give you pastors, right? Another word for pastor is a shepherd, right? Strong's number H7462. It says Ra'aya. See? And to pasture, to tend, graze, feed, to tend, pasture, to shepherd, right? Shepherd, herdsman. So he said, I will give you pastors according to mine heart, right? The same mentality as Yahushua, the same mentality as David. Because what the Most High say about David, he is a man after his own heart. So we at the house of David, we gotta treat the sheep as the same way as he treated them. You see? Following in the examples of these righteous men. The ultimate example is Yahushua. You see? We have been put in charge of our father's sheep, right? By Yahushua. And we are held accountable for these sheep. Right? So, like I said, we gotta pour to them the correct doctrine. Teach them how to conduct themselves, teach them how to be, everything, man. Nourish them up, right? Just take care of them spiritually. You see, by teaching His word. See, in the face of danger, right? Like I said, we putting our life on the line. A body is a living sacrifice, going out in the elements and teaching, encountering, demonic spirits that's on these people, right? Putting our face out there so Esau Edom can see us, and he's gonna come after us, right? But hey, it doesn't matter. We're doing all of this for the sheep. So that's a lesson. Hope this was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom to Yaakam and Yaakwath out there.